Wow.
And my hometown, which is not Lisbon, it's a coastal city, pardon my English. I think it's coast city, right? And it's called Figueira da Foz. And then when I moved to Lisbon, I was at a child teenage group that was super famous in Portugal. We had castings for vocals, for dancing, and it was called On the Shock. So I started in 1991.
Wow.
So yeah, a long time ago. And I was, touring Portugal with that group. And so I started a long time. But the big jump nationally, in terms of being known, it was in 1994 with a Christmas song. Yeah, I was invited by a duet of brothers. They called Angels in Portugal. They're still in the music business. And it was #1. So at this time, it's one of the Christmas Portuguese iconic songs. It plays everywhere in the radio station every year. So I can hear my voice when I was 19 for all these years, and the shopping malls everywhere. So it's funny to see generation after generation, hearing that song. So that's amazing. So yeah, and then I launched an album through Universal Records. Yeah, at the time, but we didn't have social media, so no.
Well, we didn't as well. I mean, Serbia 2014, that wasn't it didn't really exist.
Yeah, and I'm still bad with it, to be honest.
And then jump forward to 2014, and you took part obviously in Festival de Canção. How did all that come about? How did you end up taking part in the national final?
Yeah, that actually it's a curious story, because I was always in the music business, but at the same time I had other jobs, right? So after doing musicals, been all my life in the music industry, I was at the same time, project manager and blah 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 in the pharmaceutical industry. Yes, I was in the pharmaceutical industry. And then suddenly I said, you know what, I'm a little bit sick of the corporate world, and I'm just gonna go to Dubai and do a stewardess, and be a stewardess at Emirates. Basically it started like that because my brother worked in production, show production, and he met the composer, Emmanuel, of the song Quero Ser Tua. And Emmanuel just made a comment to my brother saying, I'm looking for a type of female singer. So by his description, my brother said, I know the perfect person to represent your song and to sing that song. And he says, who? And he says, Susana, from Nesta Noite Branca. It's the Christmas song, because I was Susanna before. And then, and he says, can I meet her? I remember her, but is she still in Portugal? And he says, no, she's in Dubai. So I just caught a flight in 24 hours. I met him. We decided that, okay, I will represent a song, and it started like that. And I went to Festival de Canção. To be honest, I only rehearsed like twice. Twice.
She's so good.
Oh, no, you should see. I was like, I don't know if I can do this, because we only rehearsed twice because I was living in Dubai. So it was the first rehearsal at the first semi-final, and then the general rehearsal on the day of the show. And I said, I don't know, let's see how this
Let's
go, I'll do this. And so the first semi-final went okay. There's a little thing that I want to share with you that you didn't know. Everyone had in-ears. And me, I was not doing well with in-ears, and I was the only one requesting monitors, sound monitors on stage so that I can hear myself. And the song, in the beginning, I was supposed to dance from one side to the other. So on the first semi-final, I entered the stage, And then I went to the side and I stopped hearing myself and I ran to so the dancers were all confusing. She was supposed to do this, she was supposed to do that, and I was like standing like this in the middle because I only had one monitor in the middle and one chance. So then we went to the final, and in the final,
and the rest is history. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But and a similar question I asked Luke. But again, was Eurovision something that was kind of part of your interest? Was it something you wanted to do?
Well, to be honest, yes, it was, because in Portugal, since the beginning, which, if I'm not mistaken, it was 1962, 63. You can correct me. And we were super fans. It was the day of the family gathering. It was, the dinner. We had the points. We gave our own points. It was like an event, a family event, until 1994, right? And then Festival da Canção, our song contest, it went a little bit down the hill, including my ear. Yeah. In terms of TV audience, you see the TV audience, yeah? And then now it's rising little by little. The thing is, I thought about representing my country when I heard one of my favorite Portuguese female artists, which is Dulce Pontes, with Lusitana Paixão.
Her name is Dupont.
I love her. I know her since 2015. We had a blast in Madrid.
That's a good name.
Yeah, that's a good name, yeah. So, you remember Fado, chorar a tristeza bem. Remember that one? Yeah. So, when I saw her in 1991, I was 11 years old, and I'm like, oh, I would love to represent my country. So that was a dream. Then I forgot about it. Then when I sang the Christmas song, I thought about it, and I was invited, actually. I was invited in 2000 to participate in the Portuguese Song Contest, but my production, my managers, didn't want me to. Oh. Yeah. Didn't want, yeah. And so, but then in 2014, I was an independent artist, and I said, I'm going.
And we're very glad you did. So, like I say, we'll talk in a moment about Copenhagen, but I'm going to turn now to our Eurovision winner, the lovely Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Is it Elizabeth or Bettan? Because I've seen
you can say both.
Okay.
In the media is Bettan, and my friends is Elizabeth.
Perfect. We'll go with
I
that.
love both of them.
Now, you've obviously got...
I call her Elizabeth.
Mrs. Andreasen, there we are. Now, you've obviously got an incredible Eurovision career, but I've been talking to people as well about their experience in Liverpool last year, and we last saw you on this very stage as part of Euroclub, alongside Nana Grunwald and One More Time. How was the Liverpool experience for you?
I mean, every time I meet Eurovision fans, it's just absolutely fantastic and wonderful. Wherever we meet, if I participate or if I'm a guest or whatever, if I meet them for a chat or whatever, they are the most fantastic audience. And it was nice to come here because it was Nana and One More Time that was invited. And we are friends. We were working on a podcast at the time, so she said, you have to come with me to Liverpool. That's how she speaks. She's wonderful.
She does.
Oh my God, you have to come with me. And I did. So we sang our songs together, and it was really nice to be here. And I never forget the audience. There were like 2,000 or something in here. And they were singing along with the songs, and it was absolutely nice. And Liverpool was boiling. It was so nice to walk around in Liverpool because there were like Eurovision feelings all over. And even somebody recognized me and wanted to take a picture.
Of course.
No, but it was, the city was so happy. And music makes me happy. I can't live without music. And that's what I noticed when I was here, everybody was so happy because of the Eurovision, the songs, and all the countries that meet. We are all friends, we join in together with the music, and what we love the most.
The atmosphere was just incredible.
That's nice.
Now, we've obviously seen you in many different Eurovision national finals over the years. Now, if I've counted correctly, you've been in national finals on 12 occasions, 6 times for Sweden, 6 times for Norway.
Yes.
You've hosted Melody Festivalen,
Yes.
You've hosted Melody Grand Prix,
Yeah.
You've made it to Eurovision on 4 occasions.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted reading that. That's quite the Eurovision legacy. What is it about the contest that is just so special for you?
I love the whole family. I call it my family. But I have been so fortunate to have good songs. Because when I hear a song and they ask, people ask me all the time, you want to sing this song in the Eurovision? And I say a lot of times no, because I don't feel the song is right for me. And when I've heard the 4 winner songs, I had a bang in my stomach. And then it's right. You feel, oh my God, I want to sing that song. I think it can win. It can win. Because in the beginning of my career, it was not so important, the lyrics or the song, because it was so important, it was so fun to be in TV, to be in the Eurovision, to be in the Melody Grand Prix when I was 19, 20 years old. So some of the songs was not so good, but still it's a good experience because you learn how important it is to choose the right song. You shouldn't be in it if you don't feel the song is 100%. But when you're young, you don't. I'm in the Eurovision. I'm still so happy. But now it's more fortunate to have the good songs. So, but all participants has been really good for me. I don't regret any of them, even if the dress was terrible and my hair was terrible, but it's fun. That's something about the Eurovision also, how you develop and how you find it more important with the lyrics, with the music, and blah, blah, blah.
But sometimes what you think that it's not good or as good as you think it is, maybe for the audience, it's amazing.
It is,
So this is the beauty of Eurovision. It's diversity.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes yellow, not everyone likes blue. So
Yeah.
there's space
Yeah.
for people to actually, choose what they like.
Yeah, that's like a family. A family is a lot of people with different, feelings, and so I love the Eurovision family, and we can always come back. Yeah, we are always welcome to come back. Yeah.
And obviously, the first time we saw you at Eurovision was with Chips alongside the fabulous
Chips.
Kiki Danielsson.
Yeah.
How did that come about? How did you two end up working
Oh my
together?
God. I had a big dream to sing, to do this, what I do today. Even from I was 5, 6 years old. That was a dream. I didn't want to do anything else but sing and be an artist. So when I came to Stockholm, I went to a country festival in a big arena, and I was in the audience, and I was just, oh my God, I want to go up there. So in the intermission, I felt, if you can imagine a Steven Spielberg movie scene, that he's filming from above down on the audience, and there is a light on one person. I felt I had that light that evening, and I thought, oh my God, maybe this is the night. Maybe I should go backstage. So I went backstage in the intermission, is what you call it, and I went up to a guy who was standing there, and I said, hello, I'm Elizabeth Andreasen, and I'm fucking good, and I want to sing. I had nothing to lose. And he looked at me, and he said, you're so fucking naughty. I want to hear you. So he wanted to hear me. So I went out there, and I sang 2 songs with my boyfriend, who played the guitar, singing a country song. And after I came out, and he said, can you come to my studio tomorrow at 10 o'clock? Well, I don't know. Oh my God, I was there. I think I was there 9 o'clock. So nervous, and I came in 10 o'clock, and he said, can you listen to this song and come back in 2 hours, and you can sing in my studio. And I'm working on a record with Kiki Danielsson. Kiki Danielsson, she was my big idol at the time. I loved Kiki. And I came back and I went into the studio, took this thing on my ears and stood in front of the microphone, and I started singing, sometimes when we touch, and the other sleeps too much, la 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 la, and I sing. And that was the first time I heard my voice in a beautiful sound. And I heard this, orchestra. I almost fainted. And I was freezing talking about it. I get chills at myself. That's very embarrassing. But I was singing and I saw this guy holding the phone up to the speaker. And when I was finished, he said, you can come in, you have a record contract. Well, and
that was easy.
And
I want to do that.
And the guy I met on this concert is Lasse Holm, who wrote Främling to Carola. I didn't know that he was a music guy. I only saw him in a band. So from that moment, I had this record contract, and I could work with Lasse Holm, the biggest, famous, best man in the music business at the time. And this was 1980. So you're not so old. I am old.
that was the year that I was born.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And it was like going on a music train. From that moment, that train was just 180. The whole 80s. Because the first Eurovision was 81, and then 82 with Kiki again, and winning, and then it was going on.
We'll talk in a moment about some of your other Eurovision experiences.
Yeah.
But Luke, we've talked about some of your background, how you ended up in the Serbian national final. But just talking about your experience in Liverpool, you gave us one of the most memorable performances of all the songs last year, and of course you booked a spot in the grand final. Just talk us about the concept for the song and the staging and the performance, because it was so unique.
I was just talking about that. So my idea was to actually be connected to a sleeping machine that was allowing me to sleep for a very long time. The world was actually quite overwhelming, especially during the pandemic. But even before pandemic, lots of crazy things happened and are happening that are terrible to look at, and they make so much noise and you feel like powerless and you just like want to get it over with. But so the idea was for the robot that's behind me to pull all the strings, and my dancers were attached to tubes filled with gas and poison, and I was hooked onto the sleeping flower, the machine. I was inspired by this video game called Dreamfall, The Longest Journey. They had like sleeping machines that I'm pretty sure we're gonna have in the future, that you can connect your face to, and it's in the game. It starts off as something positive, and then the corporation gets hungrier and hungrier, and they start monetizing your dreams and putting in the adverts and subliminal messages. So that was kind of the inspiration. I didn't want to have a completely positive note because I'm not really like a joyful person. But I wanted to first, before I actually go to sleep forever, if you know what I mean, I wanted to fight the world's pain and injustice, and that is why the singing is kind of whispery, and I kind of sacrificed any higher placement or anything just because of the idea of me just being super quiet because I'm sleepy, you know, and I'm kind of weak from everything that's happening. And I just woke up from like a Matrix machine. I'm not gonna be belting out like a Celine Dion. Yeah, I guess that, you know, and the idea was to have that section of the song which is at the end when I'm actually unplugging my people from the poisonous pipes that were connected to the flower and the flower bed and the robot, and to fight, you know, war, violence, injustice, all of the hurtful things that are happening in the world. And then once I'm done defeating the robot, and you can see that in the performance that he's using his HP, like health, you know, like in the video game. And once he was done, I still finished the song is like in like that I want to sleep. So I'm like, I'm done helping the world, and now because, you know, I'm hurting so much, I'm just gonna go to sleep again. But the world is better, I guess, without that robot. So that was kind of the concept of the song and the performance.
And both with your Eurovision song, but also some of the other stuff you've done before and subsequently, like the visual aspects, they're so key. It's not just what you hear, it's what you see as well, isn't it? Particularly for you.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. My strongest point is not my voice. It's not my songwriting. It's not my, you know, me as a producer. I think it's the vision that I have, and I just do it through music and through visuals. So the whole Eurovision journey inspired me to tap into my neo-romantic and gothic love. Is what the Eurovision fans recognized in it, and I kind of responded back to it, and I found myself within it, and I released an album after that, like really quickly. One of the quickest artists from 2023 to release an album. Not even Loreen has done it. But you know, I was just working really hard, and I wanted to tell a story. And a year later, after my national final, I also, you know how in horror films you have like you beat the negative guy, and then it wakes up for like one moment again, you know, like that final moment they have to beat it. So the robot woke up again, and I was on the national final fighting it again in my song title track Chainsaws in Paradise. And now I'm working on a project that's from the perspective of the robot and why it was evil in the first place. So like, yeah, that's kind of like, I'm just doing that. That's the point of my kind of creativity.
And for many people, when they're watching Eurovision, it is what they see is those 3 minutes on stage. But of course, those of us that are in the bubble know there's a lot more to it than that. You've got the rehearsals, the pre-parties, the promotional tour, the media interviews. How do you deal with all that pressure? And it must have grown over the years.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was loads of pressure. I mean, I can't be like, as I said, I'm going to be truthful. I love my country, but I've never really felt connected to it. And to represent the country is quite a big task, especially being, you know, like satanized and demonized throughout my whole appearance there. And then we had like some horrible stuff happen. The moment I landed in Liverpool, and that happened again now, so I don't think you'll be seeing me again. But we had something happen in Serbia just about yesterday, and I really, I don't know, maybe I'm not the best person to ask because like I was so emotionally drained because of what happened, but I also was the main producer of my show. So everything that you saw with all the movable parts was going through me. So I advised Teja this year that represented Serbia to be more of a star than I was, and to kind of, you know, save the voice and mental health and serenity and peace as much as she can as a performer, because nobody knows what's going on behind the stage. And you know that like we have to do like a show twice per day, sometimes 4 times per day if I remember correctly. I'm a gamer, I don't really go exercising, so I'm just kind of like, I had like loads of like choreo and like rage, and like every time you had to do it, and I should have gone to the gym before that. But yeah, that was. But I don't know. I the only thing I remember as I blocked everything out is that the fans that I met, and I don't think anything else was as enjoyable as that. But as I said, Liverpool stage, oh my God, like it was insane. Like it was batshit. Like it was beautiful. Like I really have to compliment like the whole staging there, and everybody was so nice. Made us feel like calm and serene and at home, and I just loved it. I kind of want to do it again, but not to represent a country, just to like be managed and have the schedule like that. Yeah.
You can be a guest star and do the intermission.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Susie, it's like I said, it's 10 years since we saw you in Copenhagen, and I'm gonna take you back to that giant shipyard that Eurovision was hosted in, the glamour. How was your Eurovision experience?